We are going to have Bernard Taylor for Congress join us in about 10 minutes. So I wanted to go ahead and get started, see if we can get folks in the room. What's up, Cam? Good to see you. Hello, Lamar. And if you are joining me from anywhere other than TikTok, if you're joining me from the Book of Faces, the Stack of Subs, or the Tube of You, please make sure that you say hello in the comments so that I can see you as well. Just want to be sure you're so excited, Chelsea. Good. Hello, Lisa. What's up? How is everyone? Hey, David, Mel Gray. Good to see you. What's up, Red Hot? What's up, Jen? Good morning. Good morning, Sleepless. Near Seattle. Love that. What's up, everybody? Silver St. Cloud. Good to see you. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. What's up? Tech Lady, Stacy D in the place to be. Carla, good to see you. Hey, Donna Ski over there on the Tube of You. How is everyone? What's up, Ada? I'm glad to see everybody rolling in here. Hey, Colleen, good to see you as well. Oh, good afternoon, Crystal. Hey, Vashti, how are you? Alaikum salam, Mohammed. Good to see you as well. What's up, Conchita? Hello, C. Hello, Stacy. Hello, Cynthia. How is everyone? What's up, Tam Bam? Good afternoon, everybody. So I'm going to be joined here shortly by Bernard Taylor, who's running for the 21st District of Florida for Congress, and we have lots of good questions and things for him. Eager to hear kind of what he has to say about his plans for the 21st District of Florida. Y'all know me. I did a little bit of recon in terms of like his platform. And so I have lots of questions. I'm sure that some of you guys do as well. What's up, Sunflower? Hey, Deborah. Hello, Jay Bird. Good to see you. Hey, Rylene. Good to see you. And by the way, I am working on getting a couple of other things. They got downloaded today. So the last 2 lives will be uploaded to YouTube today. So you guys will have those. Hey, Uka, good to see you. They will be there soon. They take a minute to get ready. So I appreciate that. Appreciate that, Mohammed. Hey, Cinderella, good to see you. So I'm ready for this conversation, interested and ready and eager to have this chat with him and to hear what he has to say. Hey, Christine. Thank you, Carla. Everybody always compliments me on this sweatshirt. It's uber comfortable. So Rylene is saying, hey, Danikins from over on the Tube of You. Hibba, what happened? Hibba, what happened? Hey, Kat. What's up, one and only? Hey, superstar. Hibba, where are you? Come up here and tell me what happened. Hey, what just happened, Hibba? Salam Abdul. Hey, Hibba, what happened? Oh, shit.
I just haven't said it out loud yet. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
They assassinated Salah al-Jafarawi, the journalist.
What?
Yeah. 7 shots. We just now heard. And he survived the whole genocide. He survived the whole genocide. He survived the attacks on the tents. He survived everything.
Okay. So can somebody? So what? I don't even know like how to act. Like what happened?
DJ, can you come up, babe? DJ, can you? أهلين يعطيك العافية البقية بحياتك.
الله يرحمه، الله يرحم كل الشهداء أول شيء.
So yeah, just like him was saying, Danny. So Saleh was able to survive the entire G side, the entire H cost. Many assassin attempts. The occupation has consistently put hits out on him, consistently threatening him the same way they did with Anas al-Sharif, Allah yarhamu. And he survived all of it, right? They even got to a point where they offered millions of dollars in safe passage to get out of Gaza, in order for him to stop reporting, and he completely denied it, right? He said, absolutely not, I'm staying in Gaza. And it's what's really insane to me is that you survive all of this, just to be, unalived by the Israeli armed gangs that they have put inside of Gaza. Right, so this is what the news is coming out now, that it is these gangs that we've talked about,
Yeah.
and this, the Abu Shabab group, the Yasser Abu Shabab group, and although they're being dealt with inside of Gaza by the resistance, they're still out there, right? And they're targeting people that Israel themselves couldn't assassinate. But it's like those groups, Ronnie. It's like those groups from what I'm not saying it's Abu Shabab himself, but it's those gangs. I honestly, Danny, it's still developing, right? Yeah, exactly, Ronnie. I'm with you. It's still developing. So I was actually just talking to somebody, and I was thinking that who's to say that some of these IDF soldiers are still not in Gaza, right? Disguised as within these gangs and whatnot, just going around doing all of this. There's just still so much that's unknown, but what we do know is he was martyred after surviving 2 years of a genocide, of a G-side.
So some of the people aren't familiar with who you're talking about. So can you?
I'll pull it up for you. I'll pull up this.
Give me a second, folks. Hey, Candy. Can you guys, Hiba, can you spell his name for me?
I'll put it in the chat.
Okay.
Yeah, it's right there at the bottom of the picture, if you can see
Salah. Yeah. Hold on.
Yeah, because that's directly from his.
Yeah, his account.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm seeing it. Holy shit.
Yeah. So Danny, I honestly, as much as I try to keep my composure and everything, and I did register for your event even to be a guest. Honestly, I really can't even wrap my head around even talking to.
No.
To it,
Yeah, no, absolutely not. And then that's okay. Like that is perfectly fine.
That's what honestly, Danny, that's why I came in to begin with, because I wanted to make sure that you knew that this happened, so that if people don't show up, that it's not a lack of support or love or anything. It's just this is.
Yeah, I understand. I get it.
He was Danny. He was a sign of inspiration, a sign of hope, a sign of joy.
I know. I see.
With the times that his reporting, he would literally put himself in harm's way consistently. He also would help feed the people of Gaza. He would sit there and play with the children and just try to bring some kind of joy to the community, the areas that he was in.
Right.
And he has just became, he's literally became like a household name for every single one of us. I've never met him personally, but I've grown to love him. Right? There's many that this is what we were talking about the other day, Dan. You remember when I was telling you it's hard to make these connections with people because it's such a devastating blow, and at any time it just will flip you upside down. And this is something, as much as even I try to not try to make connections, you're forced to it just because your love for the resilience and your love, just for the faith that they have. It's I don't even really have words for it, Danny. It's absolutely devastating. It's absolutely devastating that he will not be able to see. He was able to see one day of a ceasefire, right?
Right.
And then he was martyred. But I would say, at least, Danny, one thing is that what Allah had planned for him was to be martyred in this way and not suffer under the hands of the occupation in the Israeli torture dungeons.
Right.
So Alhamdulillah always.
Alhamdulillah.
Always.
Okay. I know that
you can drop me down, Danny.
I got you. Sending you guys lots of love.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Me as well.
I got you, sis.
Thank you.
All right. Love you guys.
Much love.
Well, shit, Hibba, it's not okay. There we go. All right. So obviously wasn't expecting news like that when we first go live for this interview. So I just want to pause for just a moment before I welcome Bernard and we get to this conversation. To say to everyone that if you are Palestinian, if you are part of the diaspora, if you just need a moment and are not able to join right now, that is perfectly okay. I get it, right? Yeah, I know. Saliman. That's what we were just talking about. So, journalist Salah Al Jafari has been unalived in Pakistan. I mean, in Palestine. Jesus, in Palestine. He has 3 million followers on TikTok. He became the face of hope and joy in Palestine over the last 2 years. He survived the entire 2 years, and then after the ceasefire, what they believe is that there are these gangs within Israeli gangs within or whatever within Palestine that are doing the bidding of Israel, and so he has been confirmed to be unalive today. So as you can imagine, those of us with friends in the Palestinian community, they are hurting today. They are devastated today, as is perfectly understandable. So make sure that we send them lots of love and prayers, just so that everyone knows that that's what has happened. I don't know what that is going to mean for everything else that is supposed to be happening today. I don't know what that means when it comes to the, her grief, Hibba, is 100%, 100%. Some of them have followed and known him for years. And for the last 2 years, and are very devastated by what has happened. I want to make sure that I kind of so Bernard, can I get you to hold on for me for just 1 second? I just want to bring up a friend of mine who's a member of the press who worked alongside him, and then we'll bring you right up and we'll get to business. I know your time is valuable. If that's okay with you.
Yes, ma'am. I'll go ahead and drop down and I'll come back up. You guys do what you need to do. It's no pressure.
Yeah, it will be literally just a couple of minutes.
Actually, I'll just come back around 2:30. I'll give you guys 25 minutes and do what you need to do, and I'll be back.
Okay. All right. Appreciate it. Thank you. All right. So Bernard will be back at 2:30. That gives me time to talk to a few of my Palestinian journalist friends. Marhaba, Raja. my heart breaks for my friends. Yeah, no, Bernard, I think today is fine. I think today is fine. And there are people that are here specifically to hear you. So
Wait. Not Raja. Not Raja. Account fake.
hey, Ala.
Account fake. Not Raja.
Bring him back up. Okay, DJ. What? Ugh. That's not Raja. Who is faking Raja? Get the fuck out of here.
Alaikum assalam. Hala Islam. Hala Islam.
Thank you.
Please listen me and Raja and Islam. Okay.
Yeah, he's saying he was a counterfeit. And I looked because Raja and I are friends. Yeah. Yeah, I have him as a friend too, and that wasn't him. That Raja was a fan. Yeah, this is the real Raja.
Raja is coming now.
Yeah, this is the real Raja. I see him now. Marhaba Raja. هلا هلا هلا.
حساب فيك موجود معك. داني سمعتك السر باسورد هلا
هلا هلا هلا.
يوسف ما قالش هلا
Yes. Oh.
داني هلا داني هلا سلام هلا سلامات. لسه لحتى الان مستمرين في قصة الفيك. الحسابات الفيك عاملين باغلب الصحفيين اسماء فيك.
Yeah.
يدخلوا فيها على الاصدقاء والمقربين منا.
DJ K, if you're still here, can you come back up? Read the comments. Okay.
Makes fake account.
Yes, I saw fake account. I saw. We need to block that. So I just, if you can help me just communicate for a minute, and then Bernard's going to come back at 2:30. Thank you. I know. Sorry to ask.
No, it's okay. Don't be sorry. I'll do my absolute best.
Yeah. So I just have so much. I have.
حبيبي سلام حبيبي كيفك ان شاء الله بخير
حبيبي الله يسعدك. كاين معهم اكونت مضروب
شفته على طول نزله
ومش حاكي ولا
Yeah.
Did you guys block the other account?
I think one of the mods did it real quick.
في بيننا كلمة سر.
So he's saying, Danny, you know the code word. So as soon as that any Raja account comes up,
yeah,
immediately say the code words that you guys picked up. You know what I'm talking about.
Right? Yeah, I do.
And he'll know. You'll know immediately.
Yeah.
What they're saying is it's going to become more and more fake accounts. Literally every single live I go to, we're exposing fake accounts.
Right.
Every live.
Okay.
So he just said, just be careful. Use those code words. When
I will.
You think it's him, just make sure.
I will. Yeah. Just I just brought him. You must hear the password from him. Okay, Warasha. I love him so much. So DJ K, if you can let them know, like I'm interviewing a congressional candidate. And he's going to come back at 2:30, but I wanted to bring them up just to send them my love and my prayers and all the things. I mean, there aren't really words,
Right.
There's not words, but just for them to know that that I feel this for them,
Yeah. So يا إخواني في كمان تقريبا ثلث ساعة عندكم الساعة 9:10 على 9:30 وقت شم في واحد يطلع من أمريكا. واحد بزحكي معه عن سياسة أمريكا. هو بده يكبر بالحكومة. كيف بدي أحكيها بالعربي؟ بس يعني قاعدين إنه بدهم العالم يحكوا معه عشان هو ضد الإسرائيل يعني بدهمش هو بما بده، وهي بدها تحكي معه عشان العالم اللي في امريكا انه يجربوا انه يستمروا فيه، ولا مش عارف هاي الكلمه المضبوطه بس.
Give me 1 second you guys.
هي تحبت بس انها
Give me 1
تحكي
second.
مستمر مضبوط، وبدها بس يعني تقريبا الحكي يعني تعزي وتحكي عن صالح والله يرحمه ان شاء الله، من اهل الجنه يا رب، من جنة فردوس يا رب. وهي يعني حبت تطلع شم من تحت يعني، بس هي تقول شم.
يعني دي جي شو مطلوب منها؟ ان شاء الله. هل هي يعني انا عايزانا معها في البث او لا؟ يعني
لا مش لا حبيبي، مش بدهاش تطلع، ما ظنيش بدها تطلع حدا من غزه في وقت هذا البث. بس هي حابه تطلع، هي بكت على الساعه قبل 10 دقائق بكت لازم تبلش البث. طلع الزلمه هذا وكانت بترجع لي في خلال نص ساعه زمان عشان حابه تحكي معكم. حبت تحكي معكم قبل ما هو يرجع، يعني في خلال يعني زي ما قلت لكم على الساعه 9:30 راح ترجعوا، وبعدها بدها تنزل كل حدا من البث وراح يقبل سياسه امريكانيه ان شاء الله.
So
معلش as you like Danny ولا
حبيبي. So I was telling him exactly what you said, Danny. I was telling him at 2:30 you're going to bring Bernard Taylor back up, and at that point you're going to drop everybody from the panel. The focus is going to be on the American politics and his candidacy and trying to get some information.
And then after that, he's going to be with me an hour. And then after that, you guys are still on the update today, as you can see. Okay. I also found out about Israel hitting Lebanon yesterday. Mm-hmm. So I want to talk about that as well. So at 3:30, after he's with me for an hour, then everybody can come back and we can do our regular thing.
So let me translate. يا اخواني بتقول انه اذا حابين هي راح تكبر مع هالشاب ساعة زمان. يعني اذا بتحبوا على الساعة 3:30 على الساعة 10:30 عندكم ترجعوا على البث، وبترد بتطلعكم على البث. بيصير يعني في خلال ساعة وربع.
ولا يهمك دي جي، ولا يهمك، فيش مشكلة. هي لها حرية التصرف وقت ما بدها. احنا سنة كثير يعني شو ما بدها تعمل توكل على الله. احنا دائما موجودين في البث هنا، واحنا بنحب داني وبنحب اللايف بتاعها وكل الاحترام له.
He said they love you, Danny, and they respect your live, and they loved your live, and them. It's all respect to you. And they will definitely they'll come back later on around 3:30.
Love that.
Our time.
Bahabek Raja. EBB. Yeah. Okay.
So
yeah.
You know, Danny, since we have 15 minutes before he comes back, if he comes back into the room early, just rise him up, and I would suggest starting it.
Okay.
But if it's okay until he comes back, can I just say a couple things in regards to Palestine?
Absolutely.
All right. So you know, I was on Jeremiah's panel earlier, and I want to put this information out there, right? The Jewish state, the occupation, has literally put out orders to Palestinians, right, that to the families of the future released hostages. Okay, so when Palestinians get released, they are forbidden to celebrate. The families are forbidden to gather together. They are forbidden to do interviews. There is not any source of celebration that is allowed. So you can't even, right? Like, you can be with your immediate family, but if they start to notice, and what they do is they will set up soldiers at these homes, in front of the homes, to see if there's any celebration, if there's any families that extended family that comes. Mm-hmm. At that point, they raid the home and they arrest the people inside the home, and then you know what they do with those homes.
I do. Yeah.
So I wanted to put this out there, right? So even in times of celebration for Palestinians, where their family members have been detained and held hostage for at times of decades, years, whatever the case may be, they are still forbidden to celebrate the release of their family members, okay? Meanwhile, when these POWs that are released out of Gaza, they have this thing called Hostage Square, where there's hundreds of thousands of people that are able to gather and celebrate. The families are able to celebrate. They're able to do whatever the hell they want. But Palestinians can't even show any joy that their family has been released. And this is an order that this is not a first that they do this. This is an order that's put out every single time, even when this G-side wasn't occurring. Anytime somebody would be released, it would be the same thing. Even when I was in Palestine, Danny, living there, right, approximately about 20 years ago, I would have friends that would be released, right? And it would be the same exact orders. But we wouldn't follow those orders. I'm going to be honest with you. We will celebrate it, right? No matter what, we would celebrate them coming home because you're not going to take away our joy. You've taken away our dignity. You've taken away everything that we cherish and love, literally, and you are trying to take away the little joy that we have. So we don't allow it. So I'm expecting to see that even though there's going to be some release, I can guarantee you that they will replace them with new Palestinians going into these torture dungeons. It's almost a guarantee, Danny. And this is something that we've had to deal with for decades upon decades upon decades. So I thought it's important for people to get this.
It
when
is.
They see, because people are like, oh, I'm seeing posts, right? Oh, well, how come we don't see pro-Palis and Palestinians celebrating this deal? Well, really, what is there to celebrate? First of all, we do not trust the United States. We do not trust the occupation, the Jewish state. We do not trust anything and anybody, to be quite honest with you. Why am I going to celebrate when we know, right? Why would I celebrate for this when I can't even celebrate my people being released? If I'm in Palestine.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's so frustrating. It's like they want us to jump up and down. Oh, they're not thanking Trump. Why would I thank Trump?
Right.
Why would I thank anybody? Why would I thank the U.S.? I don't care whatever party that. Why would I thank them? Literally, they funded and armed this G-side. It literally blows my mind, Danny. It blows my mind. I swear to God.
Yes.
But the frustration. I'm sorry. I know the frustration is running
okay.
very high with me.
I know it is.
I had stuff written down to be able to talk to Bernard about. Got the news about 30 minutes ago, and I can't even get my thoughts out properly right now.
And it's okay. Palestine. It's okay. So for those of you guys who are following and don't know exactly what's happened. So a very prominent, very prominent Palestinian journalist has been unalived, and the news has just broke within the last 30 to 40 minutes or so. So Bernard stepped down for a minute. He's coming back in 12 minutes. And we're still going to do the interview with him. But because as soon as I came in, as soon as I went live, they came in to share the information. I wanted to give them a moment to first let them know that we are sending love and prayers with everybody, and that there's not really words, right? But just to know that we honor and we feel that. So it is Salah Al-Jafari. That is who it was. He very prominent on TikTok. You're talking about 3 million followers, and made it through the entire G side, and then was found unalive today. So yeah. Yeah.
Again, Danny, the occupation has been putting hits out on him. They have been threatening him publicly. They're trying to state that he has, ties to the H group, which he never has. And this is what they do. And we've talked about this. I was actually on a live yesterday or the day before talking about the legitimization unit that Israel has put together to try to justify, right, unaliving journalists. And they have been doing this. They did the same thing with Anas al-Sharif, right, and many others. But the reality of the matter is that they try to silence Palestinians at any chance they get. What they don't realize is we have all become the media, right? You can't take every single one of us out. We're in the diaspora. We are everywhere. You will not silence us. We will continue to shout from the rooftops. My children will shout from the rooftops. Even when liberation comes, I will still continue to expose the G side and the H cost that has been committed on my people. And what they tried to do also, and I'm just kind of reiterating this for the chat, The occupation has literally tried to offer millions of dollars for him to leave Gaza, right?
Yeah.
Just like others, like Mu'taz. I know a lot of people know Mu'taz Al-Azizi, or I believe was his last name, and people, loved him, right? He did a lot of great reporting, but he took that money and he ran out of Gaza.
Wow.
And, and really just kind of, I don't want to say sold out, but really sold out. Salah, he refused. He said, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I will not leave Gaza. I will continue to expose the crimes. I will continue to expose the crimes of the occupation. Allahu
DG.
Akbar, eucalyptus. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, wallah alhamd. Wallah, I hope this is absolutely confirmed, Habibi. Wallah, I hope this is confirmed. But, so he refused. He said, I'm going to stay in Gaza. When literally hospitals are being bombarded, he would go into the hospitals and record the war crimes. Record the war crimes. So he refused, and he said, I'm going to stay in Gaza. I'm going to help my people. I'm going to continue to report, and this is why he became a threat. He became a threat
Right,
to them.
because he wouldn't leave.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I hope it's true that that Abu Shabab has been arrested as well. I hope that is true as well. Inshallah.
Yeah, if you want, Danny, can I just one question that I really wanted to ask Bernard? Maybe you can pass it on to him.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if he's in here. And if one of my Dannykins can let Bernard know that he can go ahead and come back, that would be fantastic. I know he's gonna be here in like 7 minutes anyway.
Yeah. But Danny, one thing I wanted to really ask was about, U.S. citizens going to fight in a foreign nation's army, right?
Yeah.
And really, what is his thoughts about that? And do you think that they should be prosecuted as for treason, or even the war crimes that are being committed in Gaza?
Got it.
If you can put that together, that would be great.
I just wrote it down.
I've been on his panel before, Bernard's panel, so I've asked him many other questions, but that's one that I haven't been able to ask him.
I got it. And I will, yep, and I'll make sure that we'll,
recap.
Recap afterwards. Absolutely. I appreciate you guys. Yeah, you're welcome.
You can take us down if you want, Danny.
I got you. Okay, love you guys. See you all at 3:30.
Inshallah.
Inshallah.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Salam. Okay, so guys, just to recap, just so everyone knows and understands. I know he's a very kind person. He was on A Money's live, and I got a chance to speak with him, and then we set up this interview. He'll be here in 7 minutes, so that we can do this. So what has happened is, my love Raja, Bahabrak Raja. Salah Jadafari has been confirmed to have been unalived in Palestine. He was a very, very prominent Palestinian journalist with 3 million followers on TikTok. He survived the entire G-side. And it has been confirmed today that he was found unalive. So as you can imagine, the entire Palestinian community is rocked by this news. And so they came in just to let me know as to why some of them wouldn't be in this live with me to ask questions. And of course, which is totally understandable. And I'm more than okay with that. And very grateful to Bernard for saying, nah, you guys go ahead and take a minute. He even offered to reschedule, which I don't want to do. I want to do it while we have him today. Yarab Siti. And so we're going to he'll be back here in the next 5 minutes or so, to take care of things. I want you guys to understand something, that as we enter into this time, of this quote unquote ceasefire, there are going to be people that are upset, that are angry that there is a ceasefire, that Abu Shabab is who they believe has been arrested, and he was there's been a warrant out for his arrest. He was a former Yasir Abu Shabab, who has been a fugitive. And so he's wanted by the H organization. You just confirmed that he has been captured. Look at that. Look at that. So he has in fact been captured. So he's in the custody of the H organization. So yeah. Well, so here's the thing, Nini. There are different groups that, within Gaza, within Palestine, that have been recruited, and that have been used against Palestinians. And so Yasser Abu Sharab, he is the leader of the Popular Forces, which is a criminal group in the southern Gaza that is believed to be backed by Israel. And so, yep, Moon, I see you, sis. And so he has now been arrested, and is in the custody of the H group. So, alaikum salam, brothers. So while there's a huge loss, um, today, there is also, a reason to celebrate that news at least, right? But this is a significant loss. Hey, old school, for our Palestinian friends. Okay, so as soon as you knew Salah personally, sending you lots of love and prayers, the brothers. So as soon as Bernard comes back in here, I'm going to bring him up on the panel so that we can talk about these things. And then after 3:30, we'll kind of go back and cover a lot. But you guys, so listen, in preparation for today's live, I went to Bernard's campaign website. I looked up some specific things. I've got stats with reference to the congressional district that he is running for, which is Florida's 21st congressional district. And so we're going to be talking about a lot of those things, and many of them, hey Pokey, I see you. Many of them are things that are specific to his district, but they also have ramifications for me. Yeah, I know. But it also has ramifications for the entire country. So we are, we're going to kind of get into all of those things. So just letting you know, appreciate you, Bernard, for being flexible. As nobody was expecting this news today, definitely. So why won't it let me? Hold on, let me get it situated so I can get us both together, friend. You should also invite Alderman. Yeah, Wonderbird, I'm more than happy to do that, right? More than happy to do that. Just need, okay. All right. So for folks that have tuned in, I am joined today by congressional candidate Bernard Taylor for the Florida 21st District, Congressional District of Florida, running against Brian Mast. And you like that reaction? And so we're going to talk a little bit about kind of what his plans are. I'm going to let him tell you a little bit about himself, about why he's running. And then we're going to kind of dig right in. And after this first introduction, I will open it up for other people to come and ask questions, and then we'll go from there. So tell the people about yourself.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. And Danny, appreciate you again for allowing me the opportunity here on your platform to speak to your audience and tell them a little bit about who I am and what I'm trying to do. My name is Bernard Taylor. For those of you who are unfamiliar with me, I am running for Congress here in Florida Congressional District 21. Congressional District 21 covers the area of the Treasure Coast, which is St. Lucie County, Florida, Martin County, Florida, and Northern Palm Beach County, Florida. So if you guys know anything about, gerrymandering, when it gets down to that Palm Beach area, they kind of did all kind of crazy stuff cutting that thing up. So we got parts of Palm Beach County also included in our district. I am a firefighter paramedic by trade. I've been a firefighter paramedic going on 6 years now. I actually work here in my district down in the southern part of that Palm Beach County area. I live up here in the St. Lucie County area. I went to high school up here on the Treasure Coast. I moved here from Miami when I was 12 years old, so I grew up here.
You guys can hear.
My formative education was here. My family's here. I am a true child and resident of the Treasure Coast, and I love my home. The reason I decided to get into this race is, like a lot of you,
I just got tired of sitting on the sidelines and complaining about the things that weren't happening and the things that I didn't see, and the politicians who were supposed to be representing people in the working class and people like myself who grew up in poverty and needed certain things just in order to get ourselves out of those situations. And just looking back, starting to study and deep dive into politics, starting to look at legislation that has been passed over the years, starting to look at the different ways people are financed and who they're actually serving.
Mm-hmm.
I said, you know what? Excuse me. After looking at the House of Representatives with 435 representatives, after looking at the Senate with 100 senators, I did the numbers and I did the math, and only 6% of those people actually come from a working class. So that's about 11 to 12 of your representation knows what it feels like to live paycheck to paycheck, knows what it feels like to be out here on the grind, just trying to get by and have the essentials for your family. So just started looking into the things, what I needed to do to qualify, and I said, you know what? It's time to start sitting on the sideline and throw our name in the hat.
Love that. That's one of the things that we've been talking to people about is, finding out the position that you can play in things. Are you somebody that can run for office? Are you somebody that is better? Do you have a platform that can be utilized? What is the best way to move forward? And so when I went to your website, look at them giving you the stars. And the earrings, bro, the earrings, love it. You're muted, by the way, but yeah, no worries. So when I went to your website, I saw 3 things. And what's interesting, the 3 things that you have on your site are 3 of 4 things that I call them. Give me 1 second, Luna's dad, and I got you. I call them the pillars of policy. And I believe them to be healthcare, education, housing, and economic security, economic mobility. Right. So we use the acronym HE so that people remember it. And yeah, but I mean it works, right? But those are the 4 things, and pretty much any issue that people bring up, I find that it comes back to one of those 4 things. So when looking at your site, there were things that you talked about doing, and so I want lots of acronyms here. Yes, Chelts, lots of acronyms because people remember them. So don't be judging me. Don't be judging me, y'all. Look, I'm a veteran. So listen, we live by acronyms. We live by them. Okay, so I looked up your congressional district is just shy of 800,000 people. And it's crazy. I was looking at the demographics, bro. There's a lot going on in your little district. I wanted to see, so let's start with your first pillar. Let's start with healthcare. Okay. So we know that one big barbaric bill, that's what I call it, is out there, and it is set to do a lot of damage. According to the Centers for American Progress, the people in your district specifically are set to lose about 61,000 of them are set to lose their Medicare, their Medicaid benefits between now and 2034, thanks to that bill. In addition, it is also 15,000 of them that will lose all or some of their SNAP benefits. So can you speak to the people about kind of what your plan would be to come midterms, get into office? Hopefully we'll have some Democratic majority at that time. And then how do we reverse these things? What are the specific ways that we can address the loss of Medicaid and SNAP benefits?
So the very first thing I want to see, because I see it in a comment, yes, I am a proponent for universal health care. I am a proponent for a single payer system. I strongly dislike when people say, oh, you want to give free health care. No, it is not free health care. It is literally changing the healthcare system that we have now. We already, as a country, spend $4.5 trillion in the healthcare industry every year. Why can't we take that same $4.5 trillion worth of spending power towards healthcare and put it towards a universal free healthcare system? And the way you make sure that, because you always hear the terms, well, it'll overcrowd the system, or people be waiting months to get an appointment and things of that nature. The way you overcrowd anything, or the way you overcome anything, is having solid infrastructure. And that's how you overcome anything. You don't build up a neighborhood if you don't have the roadways to handle the traffic
So if you want to institute, anything like universal health care or single payer system, you need to make sure you start to prepare by making sure you have enough facilities. You have to make sure you have enough providers in the system to be able to handle what's coming when you have a single payer system. Because again, everybody will be taking advantage of the preventative care, and everybody will be taking advantage of actually going to get checked up to hopefully not be sick and end up in the back of my ambulance at the last minute trying to get emergency care. And again, it is not free health care. It is literally taking our health, taking what we do now and put into a system that works better for us, that actually saves us a lot of money.
Why won't it let me do
you
both?
or anyone else out there, I would much rather pay a flat tax out
It won't
of
let
my
me do it.
paycheck of $30 or $40 every month to guarantee I get seen with no copay, as opposed to paying $400 a month premium for them to tell me, oh, I may or may not be qualified, or my coverage may or may not exist. We live in a straight up backwards healthcare system, and every other developed nation around the world that consider themselves a thriving economic nation has some form of universal health care. So there's no reason why the quote unquote richest country in the world shouldn't be able to provide health care for its citizens. And to reverse some of those things in the big ugly law, like you said, we can provide Medicaid protections. We can provide like they're doing now. They're trying to extend some of these subsidies that even though they got cut in a quote unquote law, what people understand, you still have a budget bill that has to get passed every year. Congress has to appropriate a budget every year. So even though they have these cuts that they passed in the law, you still have to sit down and manage out a budget, which is what they're doing now. It's why we have a government shutdown, because they're still trying to get those subsidies to come across, because even though they're supposed to be getting cut, they're seeing the negative impacts that they're having on our communities. So regardless of what their law says, these people on the Democratic side are still trying to hold on to fight for you guys to continue to have those subsidies for all of you who participate in the ACA marketplace. Now, is it going to be successful? I'm a very pragmatic person. I'm not going to give y'all no hope. It's probably not going to be successful, and these premiums is going to be going up.
Now listen, let me tell you what we have. We have rules over here. We do not speak the things we do not want to happen.
Okay, yes, ma'am. I got you.
Okay, so here's what we say. We say we don't know if it's going to be successful, right? And so what we're going to do, y'all know I'm quick to check them words. I am so quick.
I know, man. I know there's power in the tongue, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah. We do not speak what we don't want to happen.
I will speak life into it.
Absolutely.
Because again, it makes my job easier, because anytime you have the healthcare system overrun and people aren't able to see their primary physicians, that just puts a strain on the emergency care system and the emergency room, hospitals, and nurses. So I am speaking it into existence. Thank you, Danny, for correcting me. You're absolutely
welcome.
Right. I will speak it into existence that things do work out in our favor, because I don't want to see anyone lose their healthcare, man. Because the things that I have to see on a shift by shift basis, I don't want anybody in the world to have to see those things, and to see the struggle of my people and the struggle of the people in the community. It's one of those things I think that gives me an advantage in this race, because I am so connected to the things that matter in my community. And the people aren't just numbers on a sheet of paper to me. I literally have to look at these people in their eyes in the worst points of their lives when they call 911. And it keeps me grounded, and it keeps me connected to what I need to do and who I need to serve. So, there are different protections that we can put in place, even though that big ugly law is passed. You see what the Democrats are doing now, as far as still trying to get those subsidies across the line. You can provide protections. You can provide tax benefits for those who still are involved in the Medicaid and Medicare programs, to have more providers be able to accept them to come into their facilities. So there are ways and legislative ways to put in. You just have the right people that have the right belief system and want it to happen.
Yeah. So, and what a lot of people, so one of the things that does excite me, so I don't know how much you know about me, but, so where I'm from, we have the largest medical monopoly in the country, and it is legal through a mechanism called a COPA. Don't know if you're familiar with what a COPA is or not. It's not relevant to this discussion, but so like in our region back home, it's literally the size of New Jersey. And one healthcare system controls 97% of the inpatient population, right?
That is a heck of a monopoly.
Yes, it is. And it's really crazy, because it's also the nursing homes. It's also, they have their own pharmacies. there's a lot. And so because you are a paramedic, EMT, all of those things, I know that you know what it's like when we talk about interfacility transfers, when we talk about wait times, when we talk about EMTALA versus other things, because people don't realize what EMTALA means and how that impacts their lives and what healthcare looks like overall. I think for me, one of the things that frustrates me is when I hear people say, oh, if we go to a universal single payer healthcare system, that, oh, it's going to be months before you get to see a specialist. Well, listen, people in small towns and rural communities already have that problem, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's already a thing. It's
I live down here in southeastern Florida. My child who's autistic, he has to see a pediatric neurologist. Do you know how long it was before he got that first appointment to see a pediatric neurologist? And we have this quote unquote system that we have right now, and it took like 6 or 7 months for him to even be seen.
Yep.
So,
And that's because we have so much monopolization within healthcare, right? I was really disappointed. So I was excited at first when under the Biden administration, they created the Monopoly and Healthcare Corruption Task Force. That was like May of 2024, and I was ecstatic. And then because you can literally go back to the FTC's archives and see my face at their their public meetings, their open meetings. Yeah, Lena Khan and I, she knows me. But it's one of those things. Yeah. Like, but I think that people don't understand that the system that we have now doesn't work for people. And it's actually, so listen, when they talk about the things that it will cost us up front, in the long run, hush, Chelts. Yes, I'm an interesting Google search. Shh. Shh.
something to do tonight now.
Yeah. So I mean, the things that you will find is, so my middle granddaughter was born at 26 weeks, 1 pound, 3 ounces at birth, spent 91 days in a NICU. A year after that is when the COPA was passed, and we found out the first plan that they had was to close that NICU and to downgrade our level 1 trauma center to a level 3, which you know what that means in terms of specialties, right? And then to downgrade our other level 2 to a level 3. So that means in that entire region, there's one level 1 trauma center in the entire region. And there is, the other 2 are level 3s, and there's only one NICU. And so it's just astounding and now that one facility that is supposed to be the flagship is a 1-star according to CMS, and has been for the last couple of years, right? So when that happened, the nurses that saved my baby's life, my grandbaby's life, reached out to me because I had a little bit of a social media following and said, we don't know anybody else that can help. So anyway, what you will see is that eventually I ended up packing a backpack and a sleeping bag, and I went and sat down on the public right away in front of the hospital. And I went live on Facebook, and I said, I'm not leaving until something changes. And so we were there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for 257 days.
Salute.
So
Look here, all respect.
Yeah, so that's why people are like, she's an interesting read. Yeah. So, but anyway.
That's what taking action looks like.
Yeah. I mean, what do you do at that point? Like when, and this is the thing where I think most people are feeling, Bernard, around the country, is people are feeling like we're talking to our politicians, we're writing emails, we're signing petitions, we're doing all the things, but it seems like we're not being heard. And so I think that's why people are really excited about you, is because you seem to be down to earth and just a regular person and all the things. I want to talk to you one more thing on healthcare before we switch gears to education. So a lot of people are focused, as they should be, on rural hospital closures. We hear the talk about all the time. But according to the Government Accountability Office, did you know that between 2019 and 2023, we actually had more urban hospitals close than opened? And I think that is something that is just laying under the radar. And so many people aren't aware that it's not just our rural hospitals that are closing and that are being harmed by what's happening in healthcare, but it's also our urban hospitals. So do you want to talk to people kind of about what that looks like, especially in the face of the monopoly situations that we have in healthcare and all of that?
Yeah, I mean, if anybody ever looks at the city of Atlanta, for example, the hospital inside the perimeter, inside 285, hospitals been shutting down there, like I say, for the past 5 or 6 years.
I was there. I was interviewed when the level 1 trauma center was closed. I was there.
So yeah, that's what we're trying I'll say, guys, like the things that they're out here talking about with the rural hospitals, I've already started with the urban hospitals because again, these hospitals, whether you want to believe it or not, they rely a lot on Medicare and Medicaid patients. And when that funding gets cut or decreased in any type of form or fashion, the hospital it has to make up for its losses because, like Danny talked about earlier, when we talk about the Impala law, and for those of you guys who don't know what Impala is law is the Emergency Medical Treatment and Labor Act. That law states that no matter who you are in this country, when you walk into an emergency room, you cannot leave until you are stabilized. They don't have to provide you long-term care, but you have to be able to walk out there with your vitals in stable levels and be able to walk out of their hospital, regardless of who you are, where you're from, what your status is.
Yep.
Now, the problem with that is, if you guys know, like I know, if you've been in the industry that I'm in, a lot of people, especially people who are living who don't have homes, who living on the street, when they're trying to make it TikTok friendly, unhoused people. A lot of those people, every now and again, they'll call 911 just to have a bed to sleep in for a few hours or to get a sandwich and get, just to make sure they're okay and get checked out, get a few hours in the AC and then go on about their way. All that stuff still costs the hospital. And this is what I talk about when I tell people we're already in a socialized medical system. We pay way more for it than you guys realize. At the end of the year, every year, a hospital looks at its budget. It looks at the money that is brought in from insurances, Medicare, and co-pays. It looks at all the expenses that all the expenses that it has. So all the people that it treated or that didn't have insurance, that didn't have any type of Medicare or Medicaid, those numbers get looked at and they cut their losses. The way they cut their losses is like, all right, this is the money we brought in. This is the money we don't have. We have to raise the prices for the treatments that we're providing on the people who actually have insurance so we can cover these people that are coming in that don't have insurance, that don't have Medicaid or Medicare. And in return, when your insurance company see those prices go up, our premiums go up.
Yep.
So we're still paying for people's health care. We're just paying way more than we have to. We would have a single payer system. So the guys are talking about we need to cut these programs because we got people on them that don't need it, or we got quote unquote people my age in their mid-30s sitting on their couch playing video games, and I don't know who they trying to fool with that lie because I don't know nobody 35. I don't know no man 35 years old on Medicaid just ain't got no job. I don't know. I had to find somebody raise their hand and say they talk about me.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like when they cut funding to these programs, these hospitals rely on these programs. They don't rely just on our insurance. Our insurance does not keep the hospital open.
No.
I'm sorry to tell you guys, because the people who have insurance rarely go to the emergency room, to be quite honest with you.
Because they have preventative care. And that's the other part that I wanted to touch on with people. So did you hear what he just said? People that have insurance rarely have to end up in the ER because they have preventative care. They can go to an urgent care. They can go to so many doctors' offices have their own after hours urgent care as well. And so what happens when we have people that do not have health insurance at all? Those people end up in the hospital, in the emergency room, sometimes for things that aren't emergent, right? They end up there because they got a strep throat. They end up there because they got a belly ache. They end up there because, whatever. They end up there because they don't have health insurance to go to a primary care physician. Or they end up there because they don't have regular care. And now all of a sudden a condition that if it had been caught early wouldn't have cost that much to treat. And now all of a sudden they need significant care. They need significant treatment. And then the hospital ends up having to eat that because they're there. And so this is why when we advocate for single payer health insurance, that's not free insurance for everybody, folks. It is equitable health care because every human being matters, right? So now that we've touched on,
that's what we need. That's a good messaging right there, Danny. I'm using that one. We need equitable health care.
Excellent.
It's not free health care, it's equitable health care. See, I'm glad we did this.
This is what I do. This is what I do. If you've never seen it, we will literally be live sometimes and I'll have people give me different situations and then I provide the framing, the messaging. It's what I do. So we need equitable healthcare. I do know words. I love words because they matter. They do. How you say something really matters. And so I'm big on words, as you will see. So I want to go to education because yesterday, I don't know if you saw, and this is a word that I do love, judge me if you must. I don't know if you saw the fuckery that happened yesterday. But it is. And Yeah, and let me just say this, the reason I feel like it's fuckery is probably the same reason you're going to feel like it, because your son is autistic, right? So yesterday they pretty much gutted the entire the Department of Education, fired almost everybody in the special education department. And so I don't know if you realize what that means, if some of you all realize what that means when it comes to IDEA law, right? The Individuals with Education and Disabilities Act. Yeah, they did. So let me just give you a little bit of it because I have it pulled up, and then I'm going to let Bernard address it as well. So an education department staffer told USA Today that the agency laid off just about every employee who works to administer funding for the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, or IDEA, which is the primary federal law supporting students with disabilities. He was unsure of how those programs will exist moving forward. And this is the quote: "The system is designed to happen at the school level with oversight from the district, with oversight from the state, and then oversight from the federal level," right? And he says, now we're closing that checks and balances system. And for those of you all who say, oh, well, you still have your local, you still have your state, you still have whatever. Let me just be clear, folks. There are some states in which, yeah, see the eyebrows go up. And so this is what I said to people. About this, when people were like, it states this and states this, and why do you care about the federal government? And so this is what I say to people. Okay, I want you to remember back to when we did not have a federal Department of Education, and I want you to tell me, who was that good for and who was it bad for? Because without the federal Department of Education, Black and brown people, children with disabilities, girls even, right? And that's where the enforcement comes in, is at that federal level. So talk to me about this with the Department of Education and special education.
Like Danny was saying, my son is on the IEP plan. For those of you who don't know what IEP is, Individual Educational Plan. That's the plan that is provided to any child with a learning disability or special needs care. The problem is, like she said, the oversight steps. Starts local, go states, go federal. Certain states, obviously, who care about their children and care about these programs, will make sure that they're conducting the right oversight, and the funds for those programs, they will be there. States like New York, California, and Illinois, and all the big blue states. When you talk about here, where I am in Florida, if you want me to believe that my governor and legislature are going to make sure the funding and oversight to these programs is on the up and up, the same governor who let his wife steal $10 million from the Medicaid program, you think he gonna do the right thing by my child and make sure that oversight is conducted correctly in order to make sure they have those programs? And again, you're talking it's going to go by county basis. So you're going to have local counties, like, you know, the southern part of my district in Palm Beach County is a heavily blue county. It's considered, I know you guys hear this all the time on the federal level, like donor states and receiver states. Well, that happens in the in-state level too. You have counties who are donor counties in the state that fund the education system for the entire
state. Yes.
So all this stuff that we talk about on the federal level, it starts at a local state level. So again, when you're talking about not having that oversight at the federal level, those people in charge of these states like Oklahoma, who's ranked dead last already in education, now you're taking away the oversight and the people to make sure the funding goes to what it needs to go to. You're already dead last in education, and now you're not even going to have that oversight.
Absolutely.
For these children and things of that nature. So that it is extremely important that you guys understand these departments were put into place because, like you said, back in the day when you had people of color, you had Black and brown people, you had children with disabilities, you had girls even. The thing like Title IX, all these different programs that come down from the federal government to make sure that there's equitable access for all of our children to be able to understand and be able to have the opportunity to learn. And right now, with gutting the Department of Education, and that was one of the top three things that I did not want to see happening while I voted for Ms. Harris, because I knew these were the steps that would be in place to make sure that children like mine and children like a lot of people I know around the community are not going to be able to have those programs. And again, if you're talking about living in a red county, again, you live in a red state in a red county with no Department of Education. You're
in trouble.
You're triple compounding the likelihood of being able to get that plan. And for me and my son, but just to give you guys my story, it took me, my son to be 7 years old in a couple weeks. Just last spring, he was finally able to find a school and a teacher and a program that actually has the patience and the resources for him to thrive. The first 5 to 6 years of his life was tough. This last year has been the best year in terms of his growth, in terms of him learning, in terms of him speaking more, and all these different things. I am so grateful for the teachers at this school and the resources that he had. I don't know where he would be without them, and I thank God for them every day. I am lucky. That is not a story that happens for everyone else.
Right.
I want that to be the story that happens for everyone else. And the problem with gutting the Department of Education, the problem with firing all those people is you having a less opportunity for people to be like my son and others parents around the country who don't have those resources. And I think about those in areas that are not as big as mine, who barely have resources to begin with. And now you're taking them away. And again, I'll never understand where the humanity went in this country.
Yeah.
I will never understand it. It's literally, I'm not talking about, taking care of able-bodied grown people. Like when you get to be a certain age, you got to take some responsibility by getting it out the mud and things of that nature. And you do need help. I needed help. I went through a homeless period in my 20s, so I understand. But even if you don't want to care about people doing that, at least the children should not ever have to suffer in this country. Again, being one of the most wealthiest the wealthiest country in the world.
Right.
There's no reason why our children should be suffering at the hands of these policies. And again, it is literally, we got to get humanity back in these places, man. And I don't know where we went along and lost it. I don't know what process over the last 10 years that we just started dehumanizing us here in this country as citizens, and also dehumanizing people all across the world. But again, I thank God for my career because it keeps me connected and keeps my humanity intact. Even though I do see some things that I wish I hadn't, it still keeps me grounded and keeps me connected and lets me know that there are people out here that need us and need people in these legislative positions to be able to actually provide them the resources that they need. So, again, for any of my parents out there that have a special needs child, I salute you. I know the works it takes. I know the sleepless nights. I know the trying to find a behavioral therapist, trying to find an occupational therapist, trying to find a speech therapist in your insurance. And if you don't got insurance, being able to afford one, or hopefully the school has the resources enough to do it. So
yeah, Bella has an IEP as well, but like when she first went to kindergarten, none of that was in place, right? And I will never forget in that first semester in kindergarten, because she's smart. Like she's her math scores, she's in like the top 93% of the country, right? No, math, that's reading. That's her reading scores. Her math is like 60 something percent, right? But she's great in terms of like being able to do that. But emotionally is where she struggles with being able to emote and articulate educationally, emotionally. And so if it takes her a while to respond, and then you get upset with her as if she's being rude, as if she's intentionally being bad, she will then she's mad. And I'll never forget, she ended up in the vice principal's office in kindergarten, and they called my daughter and they said, "We don't know what to do with Bella. She's growling at us." Because when she can't,
y'all gonna listen to me.
she said, because when she can't articulate, she goes, she gets mad. And so, yeah, so yeah, listen, they were like, she is growling. And I mean, it's funny now, but at the time it wasn't funny because she was struggling. But I will never forget her first grade year. We had the most incredible she's the one that was like, "Hey, I think we should go through an IEP evaluation and da 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 da." And then the next year, her first grade teacher became the special education teacher. And when people have seen me cry about her support team at school, but it's because even though we're in a red state, we're in a pretty progressive county. And so even though the state itself sucks, our county does not. And so like, I'm very grateful for, Bella's something else, right?
Absolutely. But that's the thing, again, it's like, we're lucky enough, even where I am, my county is rated as an A district, so we have those resources in place. But literally, if I go across the county line, they don't have those resources.
Right.
And it's like, it's not just good enough for my county for me.
No.
County over, and the next county over, and the next county over.
It should be all of our children. It should be all of our children. And the idea that we have an administration right now that isn't interested in all children absolutely baffles me. And I don't understand why people can still at this point justify it, right? So that's a little like, ugh, for me. All right, so let's talk about economic growth, because that's always one where when we talk about the economics of things, people automatically tend to favor business and corporation. Hold on, VJ, and I'll pull them up for you. People automatically, right? Everybody thinks that you hear this phrase all the time. Well, it's just business. Well, it's business, so that's different. And I don't believe that. I don't believe that business gives you an excuse to not pay people a thrivable wage. I don't even say living wage, because I don't want people to just exist. Like, fuck just existing. People need to be able to thrive. And that is something that we don't have. And so what are your thoughts around that $7.25 as a federal minimum wage, which I can't. How about that? I just can't even.
No, I'm the same. I absolutely can't. Obviously, I'm right with you there with the thrivable wage. Here's what I'll say, because again, just talking with different people in the community, I think when we talk about wages, we have to take in perspective the wages that maybe a large corporation and things of that nature can pay, as opposed to small businesses. And what I mean is, I was talking to a lady who has a small restaurant in the community, and she explained it to me, which I'm learning as I'm out here on the trail.
Mm-hmm.
When you have a restaurant, you have servers who are working for tip wages and the base pay. When you raise the minimum wage for a small business like a restaurant, what happens is that restaurant's cost for that employee grows exponentially. Not only the fact that the wage is going to go up with the minimum wage, but now you also have to look at the employer has to pay for the unemployment insurance,
mm-hmm.
and things of that nature, and all these other costs have to go up. So you're shrinking that person's margin, and potentially putting them out of business and not allowing them to be able to hire as many people as they do, because again, their costs are also rising when you raise the minimum wage and that's just in their industry and things of that nature. So I think when we talk about a thrivable wage, we have to look at the industries that we want to make sure those federally minimum wage standards are. I think we can carve out exceptions for people who are like the restaurateurs and small business owners, especially the tip workers, because let's say you raise minimum wage to $15 an hour. Let's just say hypothetically, if you're a tip worker in a restaurant, you should be able to make $15 an hour or more in tips. Just by being a nice person. You know what I'm saying? So I get, like I said, just trying to find that balance in the community to where, again, we can make a thrivable wage for everybody in certain industries, but there has to be some nuance in that discussion, because you do have those people who are starting small businesses. And when you think about the overhead costs for those small businesses and people just trying to make ends meet, raising that federal stature will actually impact them tremendously in a detriment, and now we're taking away jobs from the community because those businesses aren't open. So I'm all for making sure that people have a wage that they can thrive on. I'm also about making sure we can find a way to bring costs down, because I think also what happens is bringing costs down to those dollars that makes it sense enough for people to be able to survive on these salaries, as opposed to the cost to continue to rise, and the minimum wage hasn't increased since 2009.
So, and that's what the Purple Lover just asked. Would there be helpful if there was a way to help cover it? Yeah, absolutely. So, but then that leads us to the top conversations about tariffs. That leads us to all those other things, which are just, I think I know the answer to certain things, right? Like, I think that, I know that, that had you been in Congress, you would have voted to control the president's ability to
never got that power. That legislative power would have stayed in the House of Representatives. There's no reason
where it
why
should
any
be.
financial decision in this country should not be up to one person.
Right.
That's the reason why Congress has the power of the person, because you have 535 people that can make a budgetary decision and have these conversations, as opposed to one man waking up and saying, "What they say about me? 100% tariff."
Right, which is what has happened now. So, a couple of other things, and then what I want to do is I want to bring people up for this last 20 minutes or so they can ask questions. So things that we have talked about is, so right now there's a cap on paying into Social Security, right?
Get rid of it.
Yeah.
We get rid of the cap, Social Security lasts another 75 years.
Right. And so for people that don't know what we're talking about, once you pay $176,000 a year into Social Security, then you don't, if you're talking about Brian Mast, More Lion, the answer is yes. If you're talking about,
I think he was talking about Randy. He said obese, the obese one.
Oh, okay. Well, you know,
Yeah.
yeah, make those distinctions. But yeah, so he's still the Zionist, though. Brian Mast is that. So those types of things, I'm pretty sure that you're kind of on board with. If there was one thing you didn't know there was a cap, yeah. So listen, so once super rich people pay $176,000 into Social Security in a year, they don't pay shit else. And so if they just kept, and I'm not even talking about a progressive like percentage, if they just continued to pay the regular percentage that everybody else pays, then we would be able to fund Social Security for, like Bernard said, another 75 years. And that's what people do not understand about, the average person is not paying $176,000 a year into no damn Social Security. Most of us don't make that in a year, right? Unless you're in Congress and, whatever. Whatever they doing. Okay, so I'm going to bring some people up, and while I bring them up, I want to offer you a few things. You can take them or leave them, whatever you would like. So folks, when I bring you up, please put yourself on mute until I can get to you. If Cheryl is in here, I really expect for her to want to jump on in here. If you because she is an IEP expert and she's an advocate for families with IEPs, and she lives in Florida. So I fully expect for her to probably get up in here. But okay, so folks, if you can stay on mute for just a second. So when I pull up your the records for your community, for your district, okay, what I see is ooh, somebody's gonna echo somewhere. There we go. Got it. Okay. So so what I see is it is about 62% to 38% Republican, right? And a lot of people see that as those are the voting numbers, right?
We don't turn out in this district, unfortunately.
Right. And so a lot of times what people don't understand is that sometimes they're not red districts, they are non-voting districts where people do not turn out to vote. But even with a 60-40, so in the political world, for those of you guys who don't know, they would say a 60-40 is almost impossible. It's too big. It's 20 points. It's whatever. So I will share with you verbiage that I have used that is really helpful in reframing things, especially where in a place where progressives and liberals are anti-corrupt corporation people don't come out to vote because they think their vote doesn't matter. So if you think about it like this, if 40% of the people voted Democrat the last time there was an election in your district, that means that for every 10 people that vote, almost half of them voted Democrat. Isn't that good framing? Almost half of them voted Democrat. So just imagine how many more Democrats would come out and vote if they knew that and believed that their vote would make a difference, right? And so it's all about that framing and perspective when we talk to people and letting them understand. Say it again for those in the back. I got it, DJ. So if 40% voted for a Dem in the last election, right? Then all you say when you're talking to people is, hey, listen, did you realize that in our district, out of every 10 voters that voted, almost half of them, because 4 is almost 5, almost half of them, right, were Democrat. They voted Democrat. Right. And so with that framing, it gives people to go, they feel empowered all of a sudden. They believe, hey, because there are closet Dems. There are people who believe that they can't vote, or if they do vote, their vote won't matter, but they don't know the numbers, and the numbers never lie. Right, Kendrick? So I'm just saying the numbers don't lie. And so this is one of the things that if you are going to, if you guys are going to phone bank, if you're going to knock on doors, if you're going to do any of those things, number one, you can phone bank and you can do postcard things and things like that, even if you don't live in Florida, to help Bernard Taylor. You can do all of those things. There was something I was going to ask you really quickly before I open this up. Damn, what was it?
I'll give you guys, while you're thinking about it, I'll give you a few perspectives about my district, okay? When you look at the numbers, this district is considered an R+7. So when you look at the political report in R+7 here in Florida, if you look at some of the special election results from this year, you have 20-point swings in places that were considered ain't no way in heck, ain't no way.
Mm-hmm.
So you're talking about a 20-point swing in R+7. 20 points here gives us a 13-point victory. Now, I don't expect that, but even if you get half of that, you get a 10-point swing, you're talking about a +3 victory. So when you look at my district, the St. Lucie County is literally divided into thirds. We have 33% Democrats, 33% Independents, 33% Republicans. Martin County, which is a smaller district, is about a 90-10 split, but the population isn't as big. And then you have Palm Beach County, which is been a blue county. It's been a blue county since I was born, 36 years. It's been blue this whole time.
Yep.
The problem is, over the last few elections, we haven't had candidates that we felt the need to come out to vote for, to be perfectly quite honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
You hear the rhetoric. It's like, oh, like you said, there's no need to vote. This county's too red. They don't even show up because the other guy is going to win. But when you actually look down at the numbers, when you look at a city like Fort Pierce, which is predominantly African American, when you have those people that are apathetic and turning out at a rate of 8%, imagine if they had a 50% vote out in Fort Pierce, what that could do for the numbers. You have places in Port St. Lucie where it's tremendously diverse. Everybody lives in Port St. Lucie.
Mm-hmm.
Again, having people turn out and giving them somebody to believe in and be inspired by. And then making inroads in Martin County. You don't even got to convert 90 to 10. You can go 90 to 10 to 85 to 15. A 5 percentage point increase is very huge in a race like this.
100%.
And then have the people in Palm Beach County turn out. So my whole thing, again, is about giving people somebody to believe in. The last few elections, again, I couldn't tell you the candidate that ran against my opponent, to be quite honest with you. When I went to the ballot box in 2024, that was the first time I even seen the guy's name that was running against.
Thomas Whitcop.
Yes, that was the very first time I was introduced to him at the ballot box. And that is why
Wow.
that is why I started this campaign back in April. That's why I started knocking doors and making myself a presence in my community, to give people to a person to believe in, to let them see somebody that is working for them. And then also to see somebody who is from the community. The last few candidates we've had, they're not from here. They live, in the part of the district that never comes up here to the majority. St. Lucie County is where the population is. That's where all the people are. And
Yes.
The very first thing when I introduced myself, they asked me, "Are you from here?" And I say, "Yeah, I grew up here." And the light that shines in their eyes
Yes.
is just like, finally one of us. We're tired of these people from Palm Beach Gardens and all these places that don't know nothing about what's going on up here in St. Lucie, coming and trying to represent us as different. Like, they don't know. They can't relate to the people up here.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Even though I'm running as a Democrat, like I can speak to everyone in this community because I grew up here. I know the conversations to have. I know the language to speak. I know how to get myself in these different rooms and how to, have these conversations with people that make it make sense. And that is very, very important in this cycle. And I'm in a primary. I have 2 other people that are in the race with me that have raised far more money than I have way more experience dealing in Washington politics than I have. But we've done 3 candidate forums, and after every forum, I've left the overwhelming favorite to come out of these forums.
Yeah.
That just goes to show you that people don't care about this money that's being raised, and we're starting to wake up to the fact that we just want somebody that we can believe in.
Yes.
And I believe that I've been that person, and I've been that person this entire time. I tell people all the time, I'm not going to compromise myself and my character. I'm in this race to represent the people. Whatever I am allowed, whatever I can raise from small dollar donors and all people all across the country, we're going to make it work with what we got. And if that just means I got to be out here in this Florida heat sweating to make up for the fact that I can't throw 600 ads on TV, then that's just what I got to do. I will outwork you. If I can't outraise you, I'm going to outwork you.
Well, I'll tell you this. I saw this for the first time ever. I saw Mom Donnie have a social media post the other day, and he said, "It's me again. I got to talk to you guys about donations." And he was like, "Stop sending them because he literally had to say we've made the minimum, we've made the maximum that we can for this time period." And so you don't ever see that. And my thing is, if you become, if it's exactly what you're saying, people don't realize, number one, the power of social media. People do not realize the power of just having flat out conversations with people, and wanting to bridge the gap. And so when I saw him say that, I was like, shit, you better go ahead, Mom Donnie. You better go, because it made me excited. So I have three quick things. One, somebody that was going to be here, but because of what happened in Palestine today, they're not here. They had a question that they wanted me to ask you. So how do you feel about American citizens that go and fight in foreign military? And should those people that choose to go do that be held accountable for any war crimes that they commit in the service of some other country's military?
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay.
Again, like, this is about right and wrong. I don't care what party affiliation you have, all this other stuff. You commit a crime, you need to be punished for it.
Got it.
So it's humanity. I'm for humanity. I will always be on the side of humanity. I don't have a loyalty to a party, none of that stuff. Right is right, is wrong is wrong. And if you don't like it, fine, I can go home and get back on the Xbox. It ain't gonna make me do that.
Not the Xbox. Okay, so I know the answer to this question, but there are people who might not. Your position on APAC.
So proud to say I've been endorsed by Citizens Against APAC and Track APAC. We are fully not taking any APAC money. We have pledged to not even take those meetings and put ourselves in compromising situations. This is a strictly grassroots campaign. I will only be held accountable to the people that put me in office. The problem with our politicians now, they're held accountable by organizations like APAC, the oil industry, the pharmaceutical industry,
the pew industry.
The pew industry. And I tell people all the time, we have to be more engaged in our political lives. And what I mean by that is, every election cycle, you need to go to these places like opensecrets.org, fbc.gov. Look who's seeing funding candidates. And again, stop looking at the party thing. Look at every candidate, see where their money is coming from, and that will tell you who they're working for.
Yep.
And if you still make that decision to put that person in office, and then they're doing things that are disproportionately affecting you, then that's on you.
Yep.
At a certain point in time, you can't blame the people that you put in there when they openly tell you, "Hey, man, the pharmaceutical company giving me all this money, so yeah, your drug price is going up."
Yeah. Hi, Cory Booker. Sorry, that's on me, not you. I said hi, Cory Booker. You did not. I did. You just mentioned pharmaceuticals. That was me. So let me also ask this, okay? Because if we're being transparent and just being forthright, I think most people recognize that the Democratic Party has an image problem. They have a brand problem. Yeah. So the Republican Party's approval rate is 38% right now. The Democratic Party's approval rating is 34% right now. Can you share with me your strategy when people see the D beside your name, when people see that you're running as a Dem? Can you share with people why you're running as a Dem, and then what makes you different than the standard Dem that people have seen for such a long time?
First and foremost, I want y'all to know, ain't nobody select me. The DNC didn't reach out to find me. Ain't nobody come find me. I literally looked into how to run and said, all right, Florida's a closed primary state. These are the things that I believe in. What party believes in those things the most? It's like, all right, I'm running as a Democratic in a closed primary state because that's the only way you're going to win here in Florida. It is extremely expensive to get on these ballots, and it's even more expensive to get on the ballot as an independent.
Yes.
So as much as we don't like this system, if we want to change the system, we got to get into it first. So that's first and foremost.
Yep.
I'm out here having these conversations. The very first thing, again, I have conversations with people before they even ask me the party affiliation. And that just just off the strength of, I'm not naive to the fact that my career, my profession gives me a certain amount of respect.
As it should.
I'm also not naive to the fact that I am almost a 6 foot tall Black man and 225 pounds that's built like a truck. So,
yes. Yes.
I have a lot more. I have a lot more leeway when it comes to talking with people and having them open their ears and listen and actually have those engaging conversations and be willing to listen to hear and not just listen to counter. Mm-hmm. And when we have these conversations and we talk about things, we find that, we agree on a lot of things.
Yeah.
It's some of the margins we don't agree on, but at the end of the day, the three things that everybody cares about, man, is making sure we can live, make sure we have health care, and make sure our kids are taken care of. Yep. When you bring the conversation to those three things, you don't get caught up in the culture war nonsense. Anytime I'm doing a live and somebody even comes up with the nonsense, only paying no attention, I say that do not have nothing to do with how I'm going to pay my mortgage next month.
Right.
And at the bottom line, that's what we need to focus on. And I'm pretty good with my conversion rate. Like with people I talk to, I either leave with their support or their vote, which has been great for me. And I truly believe the more people that see my message and hear my message and I have these conversations, which is why raising the money is so important, because they give you the visibility that you need to get out in front of as many people as possible.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, just keeping things that, like you said, those he's keeping things at that level, having those conversations, people realizing like, oh, you just like me. Like, yeah, man, same things you want.
Yeah.
When it comes to 2A, I live in Florida. People eat people's faces here. I fully believe you need to make sure that you got something to protect yourself, but I also believe in the fact that we need to make sure that our children don't have to practice, pew drills in school.
100%.
And when you look at the numbers, 84% of the country agrees. Mm-hmm. So don't let them pull you into these left versus right debates and all this other stuff. Because at the end of the day, that's stuff that they use to keep us down here arguing with each other while they continue to take money out of our back pockets.
100%.
And when I express that to people and they see my conviction, again, man, I've been tremendously honored to have most of my conversations with people who are on the other side of the aisle, and it's always like this. Well, first it's like, who you run against? I can't stand that MFer. He doesn't do anything for us.
Yes.
Then it goes down to the other paths. But I truly believe, man, the more people that I hear my message and I can interact with, the better chance we have of winning this seat.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you. So what I want to do now is open it up for a couple of questions from folks. DJK, I asked your question already, and the answer is yes. He believes that they should be held accountable for the crimes that they commit, even if they are fighting in someone else's army. You are welcome, of course, my friend. So let me, not the boss coming in here, the boss. Okay, I got you. Okay, so I'm going to start on my top right. This is Jeremiah, Luna's dad. And what's the question you got for Mr. Bernard?
Big BCB, what's going on?
Hey, what's up, man? How you guys
doing? Big BCB.
What's going on, guys? How y'all doing?
Doing good, man. Doing good. However many followers we got, Mega Passive Mayhem supports Bernard Taylor for Congress, brother.
I appreciate it, man. Absolutely.
I wanted to ask you something, and it's a question that came to mind because of a conversation that Danny and I had about another candidate. And I started digging into that conversation, D. It's slow and drawn out. Some people are real fucking offended and being real defensive about this conversation.
Really? Tell him come see me about the words he said.
I invited him today because I thought it was very vital for him to see a candidate with great fucking messaging and someone who supports people with great messaging. We don't pull no fucking punches around here, right, D?
Nope. No, and I just believe in holding people accountable. So let me just share what he's referring to. I won't name drop, but okay. So there's a candidate running for Congress. Where's he at?
He's in my district.
Yeah, he's in Texas, and well, there you go.
I might know who you're talking about. I ain't gonna drop no names either.
You might. Well, I dropped his name the first time I said it. And the reason I did is because here's the thing. So I was introduced to him on Jeremiah's platform. We had a conversation, and then one day I just happened to see that he was live, and so I just was like, oh, let me listen. And he was out at an event. They said that there's a bad echo. Yeah, DJ. Yes, DJ. Okay. And so in this conversation, I'm listening to him, and somebody is there, somebody's in the chat, and somebody accuses him of being, oh, well, you're a Democrat, you just want to unalive babies. And he's like, I don't want to unalive babies. I've got 10 kids and da 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 da. And as he's talking, yeah, I'm just saying. And then he says that he is a moderate Democrat, that he actually, out of like all of the values that Mike Johnson has outside of his office as the values that conservatives have, he agrees with most of them. And matter of fact, when it comes to some issues, he leans closer to libertarian. And I immediately was like, the fuck? And so I just commented in the chat, can you please expound upon moderate Democrat? Like, what does that mean? And so I went to Jeremiah and I just said, hey, I'm just letting you know, I listened to your boy. I won't be supporting, because I heard out of his own mouth what he believes in. And so after that, which said not the long blink, yes, the long blink. And so Jeremiah, I guess, has gone back to have conversations with him. But to me, so what I see a lot is I see Republicans, and especially in the last year or two, that are running for office as Dems and then flipping once they're in office, and isn't really a thing. So that's what he's referring to.
That sounds like some purple revolution stuff right now.
Right. I'm just saying.
It sounds rough. It sounds rough, Bernard. It sounds rough. So I'm just gonna give you real quick, real fast. I'll try not to take up too much time, D. But real quick, I'm gonna give you what these points are. These 7 core principles, okay? And if you could just, and I know it's kind of pigeonholes you, so if you want to expound. But if you could just yay or nay,
Gotcha.
And then expound if you want. I just think this might be fun.
All right, let's do it.
All right. So, number 1, individual freedom.
Yay.
Yay. Okay. Now, this is what Mike Johnson says about it. Emphasizes God-given liberties such as life, liberty, free speech, religious freedom, and the right to defend oneself. Believes government role is to protect, not infringe upon these rights.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound too bad, right? Doesn't sound too bad. It doesn't have the overt white Christian nationalism in it.
Mm-hmm.
On the surface, yeah.
They didn't lean too heavily, but I think, like Danny always explains to us, wording is key. Wording is key, and the very first thing is to emphasize God-given liberties.
God-given.
God-given liberties.
I got you.
Yeah. So what if they don't believe that God gave it to you?
Yeah.
Because
So some people might not have been given that. Apparently that's the thing. I didn't fucking know.
Well, like Danny says, man, words matter.
Right. So,
if you ever been in a courtroom, brother, words matter.
yes. Just saying.
You know I have.
I know.
Number 2, limited government.
Oh God, I hate that word. I hate that word so much. I hate that word so much. In this aspect, everybody has a definition on limited as far as government. Like,
here's what he says: advocates for smaller, less intrusive federal government, supports federalism, decentralization, and reducing bureaucracy. Fuck, man. Why did they fucking lie to me like that, D?
Yeah. So here's the thing. So when they say limited government, exactly, Lisa, they mean unfettered capitalism. They mean loosening the restrictions on EPA standards and all the things that this administration has done. And so my thing is, when they say limited, right, the FDA, you got it, all of that shit. What they mean it.
And that's why I hate it, because I know what they just mean we just want to be able to do what we want to do and damn who it affects.
Right, exactly.
I'm not a limited government fan at all.
Right.
And this one, I mean, we can just laugh at it if you want, and then we'll go on to number 4.
Okay.
So number 3 is the rule of law.
Number 4.
Number 4.
Number 4, man.
Yes.
Number 4
Oh, good Lord. Number 4 is peace through strength, prioritizing national defense, border security, protecting U.S. interests abroad, and believes strong military deters threats and ensures peace.
Negative. I want to see that defense budget get cut in half and actually come towards us with things like paternity leave, maternity leaves, all those different things, and actually invest in the people in this country.
100%. So if you all didn't hear that response, that's a hard no. That is I want to see the defense budget cut in half and that money go to things like maternity, paternity leave, things for the people that help us out as a society.
So I'll tell you guys, if you haven't seen the video I posted, the $110 billion increase to ICE from $40 billion to $150 billion, you do the math, and I did the math and the numbers. Out of that $110 billion, $40 billion could have funded universal pre-K for 3 and 4 year olds. $40 billion could have funded universal free lunch for every kid in this country, and $30 billion could have funded 6 weeks of maternity leave for all of us. So instead of ICE being the 15th most expensive military in the world, we all could have those abilities. And what does those 3 things help us do? Keep costs down and put more money in our pockets.
Absolutely.
So making money and helping each other. So I'm always against giving these people more money, and I wanted to actually come towards us to help us with what we got going on.
100%.
Absolutely, Bernard. Absolutely, man. Number 5 is, I mean, it's kind of like rule of law, but feel free. Fiscal responsibility.
Number 6.
Number 6, free markets. Champions capitalism and private enterprise as engines of prosperity, opposes overregulation and government interference in the economy while dipping into and divesting us into private industries at the very same time.
So I'm gonna be honest with you guys, and this might lose me some support across, but I don't care. I'm not a capitalist fan, to be quite honest with you, because I believe capitalism only exists when there is a pretty much free labor or any labor to exploit. You cannot have a successful capitalistic society without exploiting labor at some level. This country was founded on the fact that it had a free labor force for almost 400 years, and now it's still operating on the fact that Black and brown people work for wages beyond minimum wage. So I am not a supporter of the capitalistic system because it cannot survive without having a class to exploit. So
yeah, and let's be clear.
I'm not a fan of any system that exploits a class of people.
So Black and brown people and poor white people. And I always like to make that distinction because for the people like where I'm from, there's very few rich white people, right? And we know who they are. They're usually old money, right? Where I'm from. And the poor people, the middle class, the middle lower class people in the community, we know who they are, and they don't like them folks either, right? They don't like them folks either. But you have to make that distinction because that is a class of people, right? Lower economic folks, white folks, have been exploited by the Trump. I call them the Trump organization because it's not an administration. It's not an administration. It is it's an organization because they damn sure not abiding by the law. So, right, but they are exploiting people. And so, for the person in the comments who, right, regime, exactly. For the person in the comments who talked about special education, we already covered that. And this video will be on Facebook and YouTube and Substack. So you will be able to hear our conversation about the special education cuts that took place yesterday.
Absolutely. And the last one, Bernard, is human dignity, but I want you to first listen to Mike Johnson's description of human dignity. Brown's policy and the belief that every person is made in the image of God, because of course we have to address. And then bullet point number 2, opposes abortion and supports traditional family values.
That's a hard no for me, though.
Can we have real human dignity that doesn't have those fucking disgusting bullet points?
Right. Yeah.
Like what if I don't believe? You know what I'm saying?
I don't deserve that dignity.
Yeah, I don't deserve that dignity. You know what I'm saying? And again, I'm never getting involved in a woman's decision to do what she needs to do. I have dealt with women who have had pregnancies in the back of my rescue. I've dealt with women who have had the unfortunate humiliation of going into their home and looking into a toilet and seeing is again.
Yes.
Those things that keep me connected to certain situations keep my humanity.
So
where it
this
needs
is
to be.
for those of y'all who didn't hear him over here. If you didn't hear that, this is what I love about the fact that you're an EMT. This is the reason is so like when he talks about people being in the back of the ambulance, like a woman being in the back of the ambulance with an ectopic pregnancy. Having that knowledge is not something that many of the men in Congress know. Like they don't have some of them, like literally, like the damn secretary for the Department of Health and Human Services doesn't know the difference between your placenta and your uterus. So, and literally, he made that statement that the baby was in the placenta. Bro, I can't.
Why is the moment he said circumstances lead to autism, he should have been fired on the spot. Why does
I can't for him.
Like, what are we doing?
Right.
What are we doing?
Yeah, 100%. So I want to be respectful of your time too. So let me pop down through here, Jeremiah. You got one more thing? Or are you good?
I do. You saw in my eyes, D. So this is for Bernard. This is for our brother up here. Bernard, I have a fundraising campaign. I wanna pitch to you. Okay. And to my brother and sister in MAGA Passing Mayhem, T-Dub and Rachel White. So I want to see some lead up training videos, and then I want to see a flex off between Bernard Taylor Congress, T-Dub, and Rachel _White_. And even though I know the outcome, I want to see people pull their support to fund your campaign. And I want us to find a charity
hilarious
to make an impact on.
Between Jeremiah and my other friend on here trying to get me to do a firefighter calendar, y'all just continue to pimp me out every day.
Yes, 100%.
The hat, right, bro?
Let's don't objectify the man.
Bernard.
I see it.
Look, everybody said Rachel gonna smoke both of y'all.
Facts, absolutely.
Rachel's already got the dub, but y'all, I say it jokingly, but I say it honestly, man. I really think things that just people getting to talk to you, brother. You are such a solid human being, and just to hear any response that you have on any issue that we're facing is so comforting to the world, man. And I'm just behind you, fucking 1,000%, brother. And anything that I can do, always reach out. So thank you for being here. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Sweet.
Superstar.
All right. Appreciate you, Jeremiah. Renee, you have a question for Bernard? Renee, going once.
I put her to sleep, B.
Maybe. Damn it. All right. Pokey, what you got for Bernard? Well, I think you're now Justice.
Danny, thank you for hosting.
You're welcome.
And Bernard, thank you for joining.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your support.
I've seen you in a few lives. I love what I'm hearing. I've been a social worker for many, many years, and I've worked across the board in many different populations. I know you talked about the education, but when they gutted that department, they took away the Job Corps.
Yes.
Yes.
That is very detrimental because not everyone is college bound, and we need the vocational training.
Absolutely.
And Mr. Meehan said that he was going to take some of that money and put it into vocational training, and then they just wiped out Job Corps.
Yeah.
And that really makes a big difference for people, make or break. It gave them housing, it gave them education, it gave them occupation. That's that. The other part is I work for Section 8 housing, and there's a program. They probably gutted that too. Anyway, it was called the Family Self-Sufficiency Program. And people who would start at a low level with their income, we would do a goal plan. And they could be in that program for 5 years. And the goal was to get them to self-sufficiency. And I can tell you that it worked.
I believe it.
It worked. the way that it worked was when they signed, it's a voluntary contract, right? Mm-hmm. And this was mandated by HUD that any housing agencies had to have this program. And so it was 5 years. They would write out the goal plan. And if they started out at like zero income, if they were, on public assistance or even just unemployment, whatever, the lowest level, that's when it was the best time to get them in that voluntary contract of their goals. Anyway, what happens is as people that are on housing, because there's such a lack of housing now, it's even worse, but they would, there was an escrow account through HUD that when their rent was increased because they got a job and they started making more money, and instead of sidestepping and making lateral moves, this money was put into an account, and I can tell you that it worked. There's many people who went to college. They bought a house. The things that happened were just incredible. There's a woman who I literally handed a $25,000 check to at the end of her term, and she bought a house.
That's awesome.
There's people who finished their degrees, but you know what else I saw? A woman who was just about a couple of months shy of getting her nursing degree, which just started her at a $25, $28 an hour job. And because of what they did and changing what they called welfare as we know it, that 5-year program from HUD did not meet what they did up there when they changed that. And so it became up to the states of how many years somebody could be on public assistance or whatever. So that was a clash. So I literally saw people who were at the top, ready to like be the best at what they were striving for all those years, and she got cut off, and she wasn't able to graduate from nursing school because she was too much shy of what this state did with the length of time that people could be in that program. So I don't know if you know about it. It's called the Family Self-Sufficiency Program, run through HUD. And I have not heard anything that they're doing with HUD. The last guy that was in there that was running it was a brain surgeon. He had no idea what to do with HUD.
Yeah, unfortunately, they just whenever it's time to find the HUD secretary, they just find somebody that looks
black.
like me.
That's it.
And puts them in charge because they think that's all we are good for.
100%.
I am familiar with that program. I actually have a couple family members who thrived in that program. I actually have a cousin who became a nurse because of that.
Excellent. I love to hear that.
So, again, you give people a goal, like, nobody, when people hear about HUD and housing, they always think that people want to be on there forever. As a person who grew up in the projects and who grew up in a studio bed with one bed and my 5 siblings and my mom sharing a full-size bed, don't nobody want to live like that. We don't want to live like that. We want opportunities to be able to get out of those situations. You think I like coming home from school every day, going in the elevator and smelling piss and all this other stuff? No. We want to be able to have opportunities to get out of these situations. And I believe if you want to put a time limit on it like that to give people a goal to expire, I'm all for that because I know myself when I have a goal, when I have like a deadline I gotta meet, I'm more so inclined to be like, all right, I can't play around with this. I gotta have this thing done by this certain time. So I'm all for these programs. And again, Job Corps is another thing. I have cousins who went to Job Corps down in Miami. Had a cousin become a welder. Had another cousin get his HVAC certification. So
absolutely,
I know how all these programs are affecting the community. I know there's some people who just aren't school savvy. And these programs have helped them give enough opportunity to be able to be successful. And like you said, you have opportunities for kids who otherwise don't have a home to get into these programs and to be able to have a future for themselves. So I was extremely sad when I saw the Job Corps program got cut and these places get shut down, because these things are things that affect my community wholeheartedly, and we know that's why they target them. Yeah, everyone suffers, but at the end of the day, we know the communities that benefited from these programs the most, and that's why they cut them or they cut funding from them.
Well, how do we get them back? How do we get them back?
The same way we get anything back. Somebody said this the other day, and I fully believe this. The legality is something that's determined by those who are in power. And what I mean by that is, if you want things to happen, if you want programs, you have to have the power in order to enact these programs, in order to make sure that these programs are there. If you don't have people that care enough to have these programs there, then they won't be there. Right now, you control no aspects of the federal government right now.
No.
Most states are, truth be told, have conservative legislatures across the country. And that's just because we don't take an opportunity to get involved in our local and state politics like we need to. If we voted the numbers we do in our national elections as we do in our state and local elections, we could have a whole lot of change all across this country. And again, the problem is we don't have the people in place to be the guardrails and to be the people with, common decency and humanity to make sure these programs and the funding goes to this. The funding goes to everybody else that doesn't need money, while we up here are begging for scraps and begging for these programs to just help us get up and get by. And it's unfortunate. If you want things to change, if you want things to go a certain way, put the people in office. If you don't put the people in office, you don't show up to vote, if you don't take the time to research your candidates, these are the outcomes. And we get on these apps and we lament the state of affairs. But at the end of the day, again, we have to be more active in participating in our political lives. But right now, what we got going on ain't gonna cut it. If we continue to be apathetic and we continue to just be like, all right, it don't matter, it'll get better, or this is just like any other time in history, people gonna be there for a rude awakening.
Yeah.
Okay, how are we supposed to break this orange wall?
We got midterms coming up next year.
That's it.
Look, Danny smacked me on the hand about this earlier, so I'm gonna speak this into existence. We gotta make sure that we have a veto-proof majority in both the House and the Senate. A veto-proof majority, meaning that we can do whatever we want in the legislative branch in terms of creating and enacting laws, and the orange man can't veto it. That is the only way you can have absolute brick wall against some of the stuff that's going on. Now, if you just have a simple majority, he can still veto things, and then we got to wait another 2 years to get him out of office. If you want things to start happening relatively quickly, you need to have a veto-proof majority in both the House and the Senate, which means there needs to be a blue tsunami.
Which means everybody needs to be having conversations in their circles of influence, whether that's your friends, your family, your households, your social media platforms. And those conversations have to start right now. Like, they cannot start. And this is the thing that I'm excited to see that Bernard is doing, because you cannot wait until fucking May of next year to think that you can start moving things and mobilizing and talking to voters. It's too late. You have to start to have those conversations now, and people have to believe that you mean it. All right. So real quick, let me do, because I know you've been here for a minute. So let me do T-Dubs, and then we'll do It Takes a Village. Then we'll go over to Lisa, and then the boss.
Okay, go get him, Bernard.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, T-Dubs.
I'll drop Danny so someone else can take the box.
All right, appreciate you.
Okay, thanks, Danny.
So I just wanted to, I don't have any questions for you, man. I know you. You've been on our live. I share everything you got. I just wanted to say that what I appreciate about you, and why I post all your stuff, why I repost everything, why I tell people in Florida in our lives, hey, you need to look at Bernard. You need to give him some considerations, because you are truly a candidate who is trying to earn our vote. You're not placating us. You're not just saying what the people in the chat are wanting to hear. You're speaking your mind. You're authentic. You're not taking money from these large super PACs. When I vet a candidate that I'm going to cast my vote for, and I may just move to Florida in your district so I can get a vote in. But the thing is, we need to be vetting candidates into office like you. We need to be going after the people who are doing grassroots. If we want to affect true change, we have to do it at the grassroots level. That means getting involved with your school board elections, getting involved with your city councils, and moving up the chain. You can't be complacent. You have to go with where you're at. You have to start where you're at. The lady in front of me just asked, what can we do to change this? Well, we've got to get involved in every level of our government, whether it be the small local stuff all the way up to the federal. Because what tends to happen is people tend to look at just the letter beside somebody's name and say, well, they share my values, when in actuality they don't. And there's a lot of Trojan horses out there who will placate the voting base. And then as soon as they're in office, they're taking money, they're doing this, they're doing that. If you truly want to know who the candidate is, you look at who's supporting them. You look at where that money is coming from, because they're going to work for the people that got them in there. And man, I just want to say, if you guys aren't following this guy, follow this guy. If you aren't, listening to his message, listen to his message, because he's got a good message. Why? Because he isn't a career politician. He isn't a career grifter. He is actually in there trying to do good for people in his home state, in his home area. And that's what we need more of, are people just like him. So, Danny, you can drop me down or let somebody else up. That's all I've got.
I got you. Appreciate you, T-Dub.
Thank you, man.
All right, Lisa, what you got?
Hey, I don't have any questions because I think that we covered a lot and it was all wonderful. I just have a suggestion for the minimum wage thing, the servers. I got like a gut, like it was like, ugh, right? Because I could see servers saying, oh, he's not for minimum wage for me. So maybe instead of talking about the minimum wage like that, say, yeah, I'm for increasing the minimum wage. I'm also for taking care of our small businesses. I'm also for credits and deductions to help our small businesses who have a lot of overhead when they're first starting out in those first couple of years. And we give all these deductions and credits and subsidies to corporations, and we don't take care of our small businesses. So we can help the small businesses on that end, and without taking away the wages of the servers and stuff. So just throwing that out there. Also,
Filing it away. I appreciate all the help.
Yeah. So the capitalism thing, I agree with you 100% on the capitalism thing. But my friend Stacy will unalive me if I did not if I did not suggest that maybe instead of like saying, yeah, I don't like capitalism, saying capitalism has gone unchecked since the 1980s. And we have no guardrails left, and that has created a system where we have monopolies illegally, right? There's the free market that no longer exists, and that's just factual, right? There's a couple companies that own everything, and that's why everything is so expensive. So we got to get in there, break up these illegal monopolies. We got to put the guardrails back up that protects people from corporations who are greedy and who will do whatever they have to do to make money, regardless of what happens to us. So those are just the two things.
Thank you.
Yeah. So the way that I phrase that, Lisa, is as I will say, listen, I am against vulture capitalism, unchecked capitalism that exploits regular people. And then, so Bernard, you might not be old enough to remember this, but and then I remind people of the 80s when the government broke up MCI. Do you all? So if you're not old enough to remember what I'm talking about right here, this is when Ma Bell, AT&T, and MCI, they got too big for their britches, and the federal government had to go in and break them up because they were too much of a monopoly. And so I remind people of that. People that are Gen Xers, people that are that are baby boomers, they will remember that. And we are at the point now where in our local communities, you've got maybe 2 healthcare systems if you're lucky, right? You've got maybe 2 choices or 3 choices when it comes to your telecom. Maybe like we don't have, we got like 6 corporations now that control 90% of our media, and they're even closing that gap. So that's the way that I frame capitalism to people, is I don't mind people making a buck, but just not at the expense of people.
Love it. Yeah. See,
I have the ideas, and Danny knows how to market this stuff. But one last thing is, I actually lived in Port St. Lucie for a few months. And I loved the bathtub, and I loved the community. I thought it was great and stuff. So yeah, it's a great area. Love it.
Bathtub was first. I got to see this bathtub. That's
Right. She said, I love the bathtub.
Oh, it's a beach.
I know. I was just saying, like, that was first. Like, that's crazy.
She said it was a beach.
Oh my gosh. I got you.
All right. Appreciate you, Lisa.
It's a beach where there's for everybody who don't know what I'm talking about, it's a beach and there's like a big coral reef around it. So there's no waves. So it's like swimming in a bathtub. The water is so warm. It's beautiful.
You're the first person I ever heard bring the bathtub up first. I'm like,
Really? Really? See? That's how you know I live there.
absolutely, 100%.
Yep. Love it.
All right, appreciate you.
You would definitely have my vote. Love everything. Just love it.
All right. So I'm going to do It Takes a Village and then DeBoss. Oh, no worries, Renee.
Hey, Bernard. It's Jess. How's it going?
Jess, what's going on? Shout out to Jess. You made my stickers. Appreciate you, Jess.
Of course. Just real quick before I ask you my question here. Jarrett, you and I are going to need to talk because I think the person that you were talking about earlier is slated to be on our show in November. And if that's the case, we should probably...
I should be on that same day.
I would love for that to happen, Danny. We should chat.
Not have my phone.
We should chat. Let's set some fires, shall we?
Yeah, listen. I'm all about calling a thing a thing. As soon as I heard it, I was like, yeah.
We'll chat for sure. So here's my question for you. The pendulum has swung like to the extreme right? At some point, the pendulum is going to swing back to a place that serves the people. I'm all here for that. That's what we're working for. But when that happens, what would you say about accountability for all of those people who did so much work to harm people that are marginalized, LGBTQ community, women, et cetera, et cetera? What would you say to the extremists who need to have some accountability?
I think I saw somebody say the other day, immunity only goes so far. And there will be a lot of people that are held to account for the things that they're doing in this administration. And I don't give the man too much credit for anything, but I think Clutty might just be vindictive enough, and I'm talking about Agent 47, that when it's time for him to get up out of there, he just might be like, oh, ain't nobody getting no pardon. Y'all on your own. and just throw up the deuces. And all these
That's what he did in 2020.
Yeah.
That's what he did in 2020. If everybody remembers, he was like, he gave it to a bunch of rappers and whatever. Roger Stone was pissed. Like, so many of them were pissed, but that's what he did last time.
I'm fully open, and like it's like Danny tells me, I'm speaking into existence the fact that he gets so dementia riddled by that time that he forgets to pardon all these people. And when they get out of office, when he does get out of office, and we have the House and everything, that some real oversight will be done, and there will be a lot of people that are held accountable for things that they've done. And like someone said, just following orders is not a defense.
No. Cool. Was that it, Jess?
Yeah, that was it. Thank you so much. Of course, everybody that can support Bernard, please do. Just a reminder to follow, share, like, push out a content video, all the things. These are free, and they help support Bernard just as well as, do your phone banking.
All those types of
Donate
things.
when you can, all the things. Do the things, guys. Do the things. That's all I'm saying.
Don't buy Starbucks for a day.
Don't buy That's right. Bernard needs
Don't buy Starbucks ever. They are pro-Israel. Can we just listen?
Real quick. Hey, stop shopping at Publix if you're in Florida, man, for your own safety. Not only do they contribute to the other side, but now they letting you open carry inside of Publix. So now I got to be buying Fruity Pebbles, worried about if somebody gonna pop me from behind. I don't like that.
Listen, I haven't had Publix in 4.5 years because the Publix heiress donated over $1 million for January 5th and 6th rallies.
Gross.
Yeah, I haven't had Publix since January 7th or so. Since I found out about her ass, I ain't ate Publix since. Yeah. Yeah, missed them subs, but oh well. So appreciate you. All right, DeBose, Michael DeBose. Good to see you, friend. What you got for Mr. Bernard here?
What's up, D? How you doing?
Oh, Mike, how you doing today, man?
What's going on, BT? How you been?
Your blood pressure down from the other night, man? Yo, hey, Danny, we had somebody on the live the other night. He ran, I don't know, Luna, was you in that live? I don't know if you caught by, but he was a former person that ran for senator in Arkansas. And my man was, I'm sorry, Danny, you would have had all kind of profanities. I'm glad you wasn't.
Well, you know, yeah, you know what? I used to follow DeBoss into lives. I don't do that anymore. Because I'm like, why the hell are you in here? I can't do it. And so
we were like in a civil place. We thought this was a safe spot, and then right there, one of them came in, and it was a wrap.
Yeah, see.
It was up to 2 o'clock in the morning.
But Danny,
Yes.
You, Lisa, Stacy, y'all armed to the teeth. So I'm not in there ill prepared.
Oh, I know. It's just not for me. I'd be like, nope. And sometimes I'll click you, and then I'm like, oh fuck, no, he's in here. Click, and then I'm out.
No, I got it. I actually, I think I came up on accident, but I actually, Bernard knows I support him. I support his campaign. I told you look for something by the end of probably tomorrow, Bernard, or as a contribution. And I support you all the way up from Cali, brother. So I didn't really have much other than to let him know and let other people know that he has my full support, and to keep doing what he's doing because we need it desperately.
All right, I want to finish on this one note because we've talked about all three. We've talked to 3 of the 4 pillars, and the last one is so important that I feel like we can't shut it off and not talk about it. So when we talk about Blackstone, when we talk about Invitation Homes, when we talk about American Homes for Rent, when we talk about these 3 people that pretty much are monopolizing our housing markets, do you see a way of putting forth legislation that would be able to prohibit the collaboration between those people, the technology that they use, that sort of stuff? Can you speak to the housing market?
3 things I want to do, and I actually have legislature proposals already. Like I have so many things that I just want to throw on the table as soon as I walk in there. So to solve that problem, because again here in Florida, 28 to 29, over 30% of all single-family homes and condos are owned by some corporation or hedge fund. 3 things that we can do to kind of help with the housing crisis here in Florida, and apparently it's happening all over the state. One of the very first things we do, we can institute a bulk tax. What does that mean? You can't just come in here and buy out the block for cash. We make it punitive tax-wise for you to buy multiple homes at one time for cash. That will discourage the purchase of multiple homes all at once to make sure we have more supply for those who are interested in having these single-family homes and apartments and condos. The second thing we can do is have what I would like call a right of first refusal for the actual people in the community. And what that means is if a house goes on market or is built and goes on market, it can't be purchased by one of those companies for 6 months to a year.
It used to be a year.
Yeah. So we have to get the people in those, we have to bring that back and give the people in the communities a chance to get these homes first. Now, after a year, if they don't get sold, you can't find nobody, then, you got to make your money. But the community should have right of first refusal when it comes to buying these single-family homes or condos, because let's be honest, man, we coming in trying to get loans and mortgages, trying to qualify for these homes, and you have these big hedge funds and corporations that say, oh, that's cute, here's $500,000, let me get that cash. You can't compete with that.
Right.
And their goal is to turn all of us into renters. And if you know anything about here in Florida, and they're talking about getting rid of the property tax, it's not for us. The reason they want to get rid of the property tax is because they know who owns all the property. It's their donors. And their donors are find a way for us to subsidize their taxes.
Yep.
So for all of us who don't own homes or who are renters, you're literally going to see one or 2 things. You're going to see your sales tax go from 7% to 14%. We already don't have a state income tax here in Florida. They might have to look at that in order to subsidize not having a property tax, because the tourism industry, obviously, over the past 8 months, with nobody coming to Florida and Mickey Mouse not having the attraction that he's had over the past 5 to 10 years, dealing with everything that's going on, that tourism revenue that offset us not having an income state tax, it is dwindling every year. So if you eliminate that tourism revenue and the taxes from tourism, and you're eliminating property tax,
where's that money going to come from to fund my department? Because whether you guys know it or not, property tax on the fire department, the police department, your school, and the potholes in the roads that's going to be fixed.
100%.
It sounds like, oh yeah, no property tax. But when you look at the things property tax pays for, yeah, you're gonna pay for it another way. They're not giving you that out. They're making it so that their corporations that are buying up all the property don't have to pay property taxes. Again, us down here that work paycheck to paycheck have to subsidize these folks.
100%. 100%.
Taxes, right of first refusal, and here in Florida, we lost about half of our homeowners insurance over the past 5 years. So we got to get those people to come back, and the way you get people to come back to insure homes is to make sure these homes are more hurricane-proof and that's our big concern, hurricane and flood-proof. So making sure that when new homes go up, that they have the impact windows already installed, that they have things to make sure that the homes are as safe from a hurricane and flooding as possible, so it makes it less of a liability for the insurance company. So those are three things specifically here in Florida that will make housing more affordable and give people down here in the working class a chance to get to that next step in building wealth, which is home ownership.
Yeah, 100%. Love that. Appreciate it. So because I know we spent 90 minutes instead of an hour. Sorry, but
I'm just gonna go cut the grass now.
Okay, I got you. So anything else you want to tell the people before we go?
So guys, thank you for staying in. Everyone who's stayed in the live and heard this conversation. Thank you, Danny, for allowing me to come on your platform and speak to your audience. If you guys want to support my campaign, go to BernardTaylorForCongress.org. The link is also in my bio. You can go to that you can go to my website. You can contribute to the campaign. You can also sign up to volunteer if you want to do things like phone bank. If you're in my area, you want to help me canvas and knock doors. You don't have to be in the area to contribute. You don't have to be in the area to be on the phone bank. Anybody who wants to help, truly appreciate it. Again, the more people that we have to volunteer to do this thing from the grassroots effort, the better chance we have of winning and outworking the people who are going to be trying to buy this seat come next year.
Okay, so I'm going to leave you with just a couple things. So on Bernard Taylor for Congress website, I want to see a housing section with those 3 points listing and a brief description so people can see it. The same thing that you said about, healthcare, education, like just those couple bullet points, because people always hear politicians talk about what they're going to do, but you actually have a plan as to how to do it. So listing just those 2 to 3 bullet points underneath each of those items will be 100% like helpful for you. Next, whoever is, look, and I'm not telling you what to do, take it with a grain of salt, whatever. What I would do if I were you is I would be looking at all of your counties, and the voter turnout for each of those. I would look at every single county that had a margin of 10% or less, right? Because then you're funneling down and you're going strictly by the numbers. And then I would approach all of my canvassing, my field campaigns, my telephone banking, all of that, even my ads or so forth. I would make those start with those places that are 10% margins or less, because that's your most flippable counties. And if you work there rather than just going after the places with the largest population, or any of those things, even rural counties, which is really important because around your bigger metropolitan areas, there's a lot of rural people that are right on the outside that are flippable when you do that. So I actually did a whole report on this. Florida was included, and I did the data for 17 states leading up to 2020. But it's a way to maximize, because you are grassroots, is a way to maximize your efforts into targeted communities when it comes to like where you want to send people the most to get it done. So if you want to have a conversation offline, just hit me up.
Definitely. Like I say, I'll take all the help I can get, man. Like I say, ain't nobody from Washington coming down here to support what I'm doing. I ain't getting none of that stuff, man. We doing this thing strictly from the people. So definitely, I'm looking forward to having all the kind of helping conversations that I have.
100%.
We go out here in this humidity and cut this grass, man. That's Jesus Christ. Yes.
Enjoy.
Class, man. Cut my own grass around here.
There you go. Right. All about it. Appreciate you. Thank you very much. Have a good one.
You as well.
All right, people. Appreciate you guys for hopping in this thing with me today and listening to Bernard. Look at that cutie. Hi, cheeks. For those of y'all over here who can't see, I'm talking to a baby. So I appreciate that. So Facebook, YouTube, Substack. I appreciate you guys for tuning in and listening to Bernard. What I'm going to do is I'll actually download the TikTok version video so you can see his face. I will upload it to those platforms as well so that people can hear what he had to say as a candidate. I appreciate you all very much, and I will see you later. TikTok, hang tight.